The only thing that we have to kind of like
giving them cues.
go and follow this stuff.
Thank you very much for coming and supporting the Spoiler Group. And I think with all the sort of creative people and sort of all the energy in San Francisco, could have like a really great meet-up group. And I know it's only the second one, but it'd be good to keep getting the feedback, and each time we can improve on it. And I was really sorry to miss the first one. I couldn't believe that happened.
That's too spot.
So, tonight we've got two key presenters. We've got Ginny, who's disappeared off, and Chris. And so Ginny's talking about promoting and advertising Readbook, and Chris is talking about developing for the iPhone. And I thought I would just, what we're looking at is publishing, but pretty much self-publishing. And Ginny and Chris's presentation is very practical things that you can do to get your sort of work out and get it discovered and get paid. And I thought I'd start off by setting it in a kind of a bigger context about the way sort of things are changing. So I know this was unsort of scheduled, but with it being spoiler and looking at the future, I'd add a few slides in and a few opinions. I've got my watch in my hand. I'm going to stick to 10 minutes. So I've got my hands on some market research from KPMG, who are a business services company, if you've not heard of them, professional services. So it comes from the UK. Every 6 months they survey 1,000 consumers who apparently are representative of the UK as a whole. And they look at their consumption habits, both offline and online. And the good news is that between September and March, in the last 6 months, digital media consumption went up by over an hour. I think most of us are kind of digital media space, so that's quite good. So I'm going to go through these slides at breakneck speed. I'm going to put them onto the site so you can watch them. But I'm just going to highlight a few takeaways. So if you look at traditional media, unsurprisingly, like TV is still the most popular. But of the 1,000 people, when asked, what have you done in the past month, reading's still very popular. Reading a newspaper, reading a magazine. It's more popular than watching a DVD, playing a console game, or going to the cinema. So reading tends not to, no one thinks of it as being very sexy, but there's still a lot of people doing it, thank goodness. And if you look at new media, again, there's still a lot of people reading, mainly sort of online news and sort of blog posts and this type of thing. But if you look at, you can just, comparing the two graphs, the numbers are down, aren't they? You can see that even though these people have responded proportionally, there's more people that do blogging than listen to streamed music, for example, the numbers are all down. And if you compare online to offline, only 26% of people surveyed said that they preferred consuming content online as opposed to sort of offline. And here you've got 90% of people would prefer to read something physical. This is of the people that preferred offline. So I think here is basically an opportunity as well for reading, because I think with as let's say like professional people, as creative people, the two biggest problems are getting discovered and getting paid for what we do. And often when we look at the issue about getting discovered, getting found, if you talk to professional creators, they often complain about the sea of amateur crap out there that they're drowning in, that it's impossible to kind of punch through the noise. But I actually think the problem is more that in today's world you need to be more exceptional than you did before, because there's actually lots of great content there as well, and I think consumers are very discerning about what it is they watch. And I know from my own experience that I kind of bypass all the amateur stuff and I go into some great content sites, and there's a lot of great stuff out there. But when you're looking at what material you forward to your friends, what links you share and everything, it's the exceptional stuff. So it's more difficult than ever. And I think in the past, where you had these business models that basically through business relationships, there was a gatekeeper to the consumer. Content providers could be mediocre. They could coast on their past sort of record because they had this unique channel through distribution to the consumer. But now, of course, that's widened up. And like I say, to really get noticed and to get discovered, your work needs to be exceptional. And when it comes to getting paid, piracy, obviously everybody thinks, I'd be making a lot more money if people weren't copying and bootlegging my films. But the most sort of voracious readers and consumers of sort of movies, not only are they pirates, but they also buy the most. And so, you know, you look at the people that are scanning in books and, you know, converting it to PDFs and putting it onto BitTorrents, they're also the people that are buying stuff. But what they're doing, because there is this explosion of content, they're being much more discerning about what they spend their money on. So they're still consuming, and, you know, because there's more of it available, consumption's going up, but the trick is to find ways to get paid, to be exceptional, so that they will actually spend their money on you. And I think there's also this issue about making it easy for people to part with their money. And I think you've only got to look at the iPhone, and you see, like there, you've got the store and the content and the device all sort of seamlessly integrated, and everybody's got a story about sort of sitting on the sort of toilet buying, you know, content as they're just sitting there browsing, and that was never possible before. So I think that what we need to do is look at these, the issue of kind of getting discovered and getting paid, and try to find the opportunities. I think when we look at e-books, as we're doing tonight, it's a case of thinking of the text, the written word, as kind of flowing into different containers. So you'll have a mix of different platforms. You've got some that are online, you've got some that are, like, let's say, offline. So a Kindle is still kind of offline because you can take it away and read it on the train, this type of thing. And you've got all different ways, basically, to get the written word into the hands of your audience. And what I'm proposing is that you have a mix of platforms. So you've got some that are free, that will help with the spread, where people can share that content because they think it's good and send it on to other people. But obviously you need to pay for it somehow, and then you'll have a mix of some paid platforms. So it's a case of mixing these different things. And here I've got 5 criteria for looking at these different platforms and deciding, okay, where do these rank? Some will aid with the spread more, and others are going to help me actually monetize the content better. And so this is the final slide. Basically, reading is still very popular, so that's good news. And the key to getting discovered is to make the content more social. And that pretty much means using this freemium pricing model. So you do put stuff out there that's free for people to use. There's no barriers for them to use it. But if you look at those earlier graphs, although people do read online, they prefer to read offline. And I think that's almost like a unique advantage, I think, with reading, that we can make stuff available for free online and provide paid offline options. And I think I'll give you a case in point, there's a really funny, fantastic writer called Adam Maxwell. All of his short stories are available for free. You can download the podcast where he's dictating the written word. And I still bought his book, just because there was like a couple of stories that weren't available online to get the book. And the intention was to buy the book and give it away, you know, as a present, I thought, after I read it. But I ended up just keeping hold of it because I like to return to the stories. So it's just one small example of an independent, creative person who's doing some really great work and still giving it away for free. And I don't know if I would have discovered him if a friend hadn't sort of sent me a bunch of his short stories. And again, with this getting paid, it's using the freemium model to use the free stuff to drive awareness and drag people back to your paid platforms. And that's it. So that's me finished. And what we're doing, I thought we'd just quickly run through the 3 presentations because they're all kind of interlocked. And then we'll just have a kind of big discussion. Probably we'll have a bit of discussion here, depending, because we're not in borrowed space. We might need to sort of disappear back to Maya, I don't know, but we'll cross that bridge when we catch it. All right, thank you. So I'm going to hand over now to you. Thank you. And,